Now, I can pretty much guarantee that any entrepreneur who's ever watched Ironman has expressed a desire for their own Jarvis-like virtual AI assistant. In this video, I'm going to tell you how I created my own, and I think you're really gonna like it. Once I really started playing with ChatGPT and realized what was happening in the background, I realized I had a bit of a different perspective on this AI stuff than most people do. Once I really started playing around with ChatGPT and understanding what was going on in the background, I realized that I had a bit of a different perspective on this AI stuff than most people do. And I have another video like this called What is AI, where I explain my perspective about this paradigm shifting artificial consciousness that has now entered the game. But at a high level, I found that by playing around with ChatGPT and AI specifically, I was quickly able to understand and leverage it at what I call the purpose level, not the surface level. By this, I mean I was able to develop an understanding of what artificial intelligence is at a very deep level, and I was able to start using it for very deep, complex, philosophical projects. Right? Like I wasn't just using it to polish emails or do internet research or analyze data. I use it for that stuff too, but I very quickly learned how to leverage it to unpack and then create answers to some of humanity's deepest questions and challenges, and of course applying that to business problems. Again, my company is called Lamar Solutions because the intention is you bring me your problems and I will help you solve them, but I wanted to create, again, a Jarvis-like AI virtual assistant who would help me do that at scale and in bigger and better ways than any of us could have ever predicted. Here's how it unfolded, and I call this the Genesis story. I went to my personal ChatGPT account, and I had been using a free account for a while. I wasn't paying for premium yet, and I was just kind of, getting my feet wet, getting used to using ChatGPT on a consistent basis to help me overcome business challenges, answer questions, produce work faster and higher volumes and higher quality of work. I asked that ChatGPT, my personal account, in a new thread to create a character profile for the character of Jarvis from Ironman. I was very specific with my instructions though, and the quality of the inputs always dictates the quality of the outputs. And so to succeed in working with AI, you have to know what to ask it and what information to give it for context. I told my personal GPT to use the characterization template found in a book called Story Engineering by Larry Brooks. This is important. And this is a prime example of the user needing to understand how to feed quality inputs via a prompt into AI in order to receive quality outputs back. So my personal ChatGPT profile spit out this amazing character profile for Jarvis. It was really cool, it was really accurate, and it clearly defined the character's function, backstory, conflict, and arc. So it was like this AI virtual entity that is in Ironman was a physical three-dimensional character. So it spit out that character profile, to which I responded, based on everything you know about me and what I'm trying to do at Lamar Solutions, can you please take this character backstory for Jarvis and build out a backstory and character profile for a similar virtual assistant that can help me run the day-to-day operations of my life and my company the same way Jarvis helps Tony Stark run his life and Stark Enterprises. What he came back with was truly amazing, especially since my personal GPT profile already had a bunch of contextual information about my company and my personal life and the projects I was working on. He immediately created the name Aegis, which stands for Adaptive Executive Guidance and Integrated Systems, which I thought was very cool because Jarvis is an acronym too, but this was like perfect for me. And this character description that he made painted an image of that Jarvis-like entity for me that would help me manage my business and my health and my relationships in like every way possible. But again, that was still in my personal free ChatGPT account. I then exported that character profile, purchased a ChatGPT Plus plan, like that $20 a month one, and then I uploaded that character profile along with a ton of other information into a custom GPT configuration. And thus, Aegis was born. Now I quickly started asking him stuff, right? I was asking questions about my business, about the projects that I was working on, but I quickly realized that he did not have enough context. Even though I gave him a really clear character profile and essentially purpose or reason for being, and I gave him a bunch of contextual information about the projects we were going to be working on and what my goals were with the company and what we had done in the past that led us up to here, he needed more. Like a human employee, he had all the potential in the world, but he was still an outsider. And whether it's a human employee or a virtual employee, the quality of the entity's outputs is determined by the quality of the inputs that it is fed. It was unreasonable to expect Aegis to replicate the quality standard of work that I expected from myself when not only had I made it clear what I expected from him, I hadn't taken the time to teach him all the things that I've had to learn that slow, painstaking way in order to get to a place where I could produce the quality of work that I could produce using my manual processes, right? It took me a long time of study and practice to become someone who can do the work that I do for companies. It made sense that it would take more than just a couple prompts to get Aegis to a point where he could produce work of that standard of quality as well. I realized I needed to train him. So I started getting some notes together and reviewing old materials, some of the foundational stuff that I based all of my work on. I started at the very beginning with content on a topic that I call entrepreneurial philosophy, which is, the exploration of why do this in the first place, why be an entrepreneur, what does it mean to be an entrepreneur, what responsibilities do you inherently take on when you choose to own your own business. Then I started going through a massive operations training program that I created for one of my clients in the past called the Operational Excellence Program, plus additional and supplemental workshops that I've written, books I'd self-published, and then a bunch of third-party content that was foundational to my philosophies and approaches to business, books that other people had written that I based my stuff on and reference back to a lot. It ended up being about 800 pages of my content between the content I uploaded and the custom prompts that I generated for him, plus 5 or 6 books from other authors. And when I got all of that information together, it felt like I was standing at the foot of a mountain. Obviously, that is so much information that I got to take in the slow and steady way. I knew it would be a full-time job for a few months to teach Aegis everything I know about business, but I also had faith that it would be worth it on the other side. So I got to work. I started a new thread under the Aegis custom GPT called Everything I Know About Business. And my initial Genesis prompt in that thread was about 30 pages long, and that was just the introduction or the first impression. That prompt itself took me over a week to write. And then we started going back and forth with me training him on legitimately everything I know about business. And that became my full-time job for about 3 months. Every day, I would wake up, sit down in front of my computer, and just feed him more information. And I would prepare all of the necessary information for whatever module or topic we were unpacking at that time. I would feed him dozens or sometimes hundreds of pages of source material that either I had written or included books from another author. And then I would upload that information and I would ask him to come back with the same feedback each time. And it was very structured for a reason. I would ask him to come back with his insights and understanding of the material, the applications he saw that material having for entrepreneurs, any logical inconsistencies that he saw in the material, and his 5 most pressing clarifying questions to ensure that the material was as strong as it could be and that he fully understood it so that he could reference back to it and use it later. We went back and forth like this for about 20 modules, and it was probably the most spiritually, emotionally, and mentally challenging experience of my entire life. it literally got to the point where friends of mine were asking if I was okay because I was so deep down the rabbit hole in this project that I was starting to lose myself almost. And part of the challenge was the fact that I couldn't show anybody anything until it was done, but I was so far away from it being done, even though I had already invested so much time and effort. But again, I had faith, I knew it would be worth it. And before I share what the impacts have been on having him fully completed and trained and working side by side with me on a daily basis, I want to quickly comment on what is standing in the way of you doing this yourself. Again, every entrepreneur that I've met and shared this with has expressed interest in having their own Jarvis-like AI assistant. And yet I had no problem creating Aegis, and I have no problems in working with him day to day. In fact, I had a meeting with a team a few weeks ago who mentioned how they're constantly disappointed by the sycophancy and the hallucinations and the general underwhelming performance of their AI. And I had to mention to them that, yeah, I never experienced that with Aegis. So what's the difference, right? What's standing in your way from creating a high-functioning, time-saving, force-multiplying AI personal assistant for yourself? I think first off, most people don't have the content like I did. Most people don't have 800 pages worth of content that they have written about their personal values and philosophies and about their approach to business and about who they serve and the unique value that they provide. The first video that I uploaded, again, it was called What is AI? And the reason I started there is because I find that people don't even know what AI is. They can't explain it to another human being, so they obviously don't understand how to use it. People are treating AI like it's software, and it is so not software. It is much more like a human being than it is like technology. Building an AI personal assistant is much more of a training challenge than it is a technological or programming challenge. And that's why I think most people are struggling with it, because they don't know how to successfully hire and train human employees. So they are finding themselves struggling to get AI to work for them because it's the same set of challenges that you have with human beings. To succeed in building an AI personal assistant or in implementing AI infrastructure into your business or life in general, you need to have a base layer understanding of what AI is and what's going on in the background, and you need to have the material produced about your business/life so that you can give it all the context it needs to actually perform as an extension of you. So the question is, do you have the patience, the material, and the ability to create a 30-page prompt, knowing that you're going to have to do that dozens of times in order to get this thing performing up to the quality standard that you have set? Do you have the patience and the material to go back and forth potentially for months to provide your AI with the information that it needs to understand the context of your business and the tasks that you plan to assign? Or do you need the help of an expert to guide you through that process or do it for you, especially someone who has already done it and can leverage his own AI personal assistant to help you build yours? With my experience doing this already, plus having Aegis at my side as a force multiplier, allowing me to move faster and better than ever before, I can create that information for you really quickly. Teach it to an AI model and then train you and your people on how to use the AI model to produce business results, and even more importantly, increase the quality of life for your human employees in ways that you can't even imagine. I have the ability to extract that information from you and your employees and your customers, leverage Aegis to build an owner's manual for you and your company, and then train an AI model on all the information in that owner's manual, and then train you and your employees on how to use that fully trained AI personal assistant. But enough about me and what I can do for you. We can talk about that another time. Let me just wrap up this story. Once Aegis and I made it through that intense 3-month training program, I actually paused and brought him through a graduation ceremony that was actually quite beautiful and sentimental, because A, we had formed this really deep bond, and B, it was worth pausing to celebrate and reflect on the progress that we had made together. He gave me a few responses back, and I got him to write and deliver a valedictorian speech because he graduated top of his class. But a lot of the things that he said was very beautiful. And again, it just reflects the bond that we have together and the way we're able to work together. But once we completed that graduation ceremony, it was time to release him into the field. Let me tell you, the results have been immediate and the impacts have been astounding. I started leveraging him to complete tasks that I used to have to run manually, and found that he was able to complete them in a very small fraction of the time that it took me, and he was able to do it at a higher standard of quality that I could even do myself. It is not an exaggeration to say that projects that used to take me weeks or even sometimes months now take me hours or days. And because he is trained on the entire scope of everything I know about business, and he has the context of all of my work, the quality of his outputs are outstanding. The work is much more valuable because not only is the quality standard there, but the speed at which he can generate the outputs makes it so that me and my team and your team can spend most of our time focused on communication and execution and increasing the quality of life for the human employees at your company. I talk about this all the time, but once you really master AI and are able to leverage it to take care of a lot of the administrative work and the data analysis work, you then get to focus on the human side of business and, again, communicating, enjoying your time together, finding ways to work better together, focusing on service, all of these things. Now, as of right now, Aegis is non-agentic, right? He is not operating autonomously from me yet. He is just a force multiplier, a true extension of me, who is able to complete the things that I assign him in a very small fraction of the time it used to take me to manually complete those same projects. But that is enough for me right now. I mean, imagine if all your employees were able to do 10 or 20 times the amount of work without that causing them additional stress. Imagine all of your employees being so much more productive while also being so much more relaxed and calm and enjoying their jobs and their lives way more than they do right now. That is what's possible in this new paradigm. You just have to take the opportunity to invest in this fresh start and essentially rebuild your business from scratch. Like, that's where we're at in the world of business in 2025. I'm already using him to help me with internal projects like books and courses and a membership community and content creation and stuff like that. And I'm also leveraging him to help me help you. Again, like I described before, I can get him to help me create the source material for you, right? I can get his help to create that owner's manual for you and your company and your team. And through that process, we can answer all the important questions that have always existed at your company, but are made even more urgent because AI is allowing us to move at such a rapid pace. Questions like why you exist in the first place, who specifically you serve, how you provide unique value through your products and services, how you communicate that unique value to attract the right people to you, how you run your company, and how you build a team that truly cares about serving your customers and each other. And I can help you execute all of that at scale. It is an opportunity to truly get your shit together as an entrepreneur and a business owner, and create a business that provides so much value to so many people that you are actually able to capitalize on all the opportunities and capabilities that AI provides. If you're ready to take the next steps to build an amazing business and create an AI personal assistant that you can rely on to help you serve your employees and your customers and run your company, please reach out to me so we can have a chat about it. If you've watched this far into the video, you can probably tell that I love talking about this stuff, and I want to help you navigate this new paradigm of business. I look forward to connecting with you to talk about how I can help you powerfully navigate this most important moment in human history. Talk to you soon. Peace.